Okay, so here is your 20-minute Pilates practice to be practiced as often as possible throughout the summer. Start lying down with your knees bent. Find your neutral pelvis, so you know by now that means that your pubic bone and your two hip bones more or less on the same plane. So if I hold my hands like that, about a cup of tea full to the brim, it wouldn't tip, it's not tipping one way, okay? So yes, I have an arch in my back, but that's my natural shape of my spine, okay? So put your hands to begin with on your ribs and start your breathing. Inhaling through your nose and exhaling through your mouth. Have a sense that the inhale expands your ribs laterally and that the exhale starts in your pelvic floor, lifts your pelvic floor upwards and then draws your abdominals towards your back and up under your ribs. So just spend a little bit of time doing a few breaths to get into your Pilates breathing. Inhaling and exhaling. Make sure that your knees aren't splaying. Okay, keeping your legs parallel. There's a slight, the inner legs are activated ever so slightly. And then bring your arms down by your side. Make sure that your shoulders are not lifted up, that you're trying to open the front of your shoulders by widening your collarbones, drawing your shoulder blades down your back. And now we're just going to bring a little bit of mobility into your pelvis by doing your rectoversions and anteversions. Okay, so I usually give the image of the bowl of soup between your pubic bone, navel and two hip bones, and that you're just pouring the soup towards your navel. Sit bones will lift slightly, and then in the opposite direction towards your pubic bone. Okay, so rectoversion and anteversion. Okay, so do this very attentively, keeping your abdominals drawn in as you're doing it. And it's just a gentle way of waking up that whole pelvic region and the lower vertebrae. And then you're going to go to the right. Try not to involve the legs too much. And then to the left. Okay, a little bit less mobility laterally. So just tipping that right hip bone down, drawing the abdominals to the right and in the opposite direction. Trying to keep the ribs out of it and the legs out of it. And then come back to your neutral pelvis. And then you're going to do 360 degrees. So you're imagining the soup at the bottom of the bowl that you're tipping, say that's towards your pubic bone, towards your right hip bone, towards your navel, left hip bone, and back towards your pubic bone. One more time in that direction. Right hip, navel, left hip, pubic bone, and then twice in the opposite direction. Okay, going into that 365. It feels like I'm churning my lower abdominals. And then come back to your neutral spine. Now we're just going to do our upper spinal curl. So placing your hands behind your head, interlacing your fingers, draw your shoulder blades down. Inhale, just lift up your head a tiny bit. Keep the weight of your head in your hands. Have your elbows lifted and wide. So you're not lifting your head with your hands. I'm feeling the weight even as I will be pulling up. I keep the weight in my hands. Okay, rather think of having a rod coming from underneath your lower sternum to the crown of your head, and on an exhale drop the bottom of the rod, keep the weight of the head in your hands and let the crown of the head lift up, shoulders away from your ears. Take an inhale up here and exhale, come up a tiny bit more, keeping your neutral pelvis, your long abdominals. I'm on the tips of my shoulder blades now, and then come down one vertebrae at a time. Okay, we do that one more time. Take a slight inhale, lift your head, keep the weight of your head in your hands. Exhale, the bottom of the rod towards the floor. The bottom of my sternum is dropping. Top of the sternum is lifting. weight of my head remains in my hand, scooping out my abdominals, changing nothing, not squeezing my butt. And then 2 or 3 more times, taking an inhale into my side ribs. Exhale, bottom of the rod drops a little bit more, come up a tiny bit more onto the tips of your shoulder blades. Again, inhale, expand your side ribs. Exhale, come up a little bit more, keep the length in your abdominals, and then come back down. Bring your hands down by your legs. Now, lift your right knee into tabletop, left leg into tabletop. We're going to do the hundreds. We're going to curl up just the way we were in the last posture, but without our hands behind our head. The same idea of the rod. Okay, so take an inhale, lift your head a little bit. Exhale, bottom of the sternum drops. I'm on the tips of my shoulder blades now. And then you can either keep your knees in tabletop, you can reach them a little bit away, you can even do a diamond with your legs, or you can get your legs straight, okay? Different stages. Crown of your head towards the ceiling, and then start your pulses. Inhale for 5 and exhale for 5. That's 2. And 3. Okay, the crown of your head stays lifted. Now some of you are going to be getting a sore neck by now, so place the hand behind your head if you're getting the sore neck. That's absolutely no problem. Keeping your arms along, the pulses coming from underneath the backs of your arms. And then you can change your hands if you want, or if you're fine with the back of your head, no problem, just keeping your hands like that. And then inhaling into your side ribs always. Exhaling, lifting your abdominals, lifting your pelvic floor and scooping your abdominals rather. And keeping everything drawn towards the center line. Okay, we're going to do 4 more inhales. And exhale, my pelvic floor lifts, my abdominals draw towards my spine and under my ribs. And nothing should be moving except for my arms. 1 more inhale after this. And exhale. And then you're going to bend your knees, bring your legs back down, head back down onto the ground. Okay, hands behind the backs of your thighs, and you're just going to lift yourself up. We're going to do the roll down. So there's different versions of this. Place your feet in the ground, have your hands where they were behind your thighs, but just before the back of your knees, and then visualize your spine in a long C curve. Okay, roll your shoulders, no tension in your shoulders here, shoulders away from your ears, shoulder blades sliding down your back, nice wide collarbone, long C curve, and I'm tipping the C back. Okay, so my coccyx, my tailbone is curling underneath me, and I'm just bringing the lowest part of the C curve towards the floor. So I'm trying to bring my sacrum towards the floor. My navel has reached back. And now I'm at my limit, and I'm going to exhale. It's like I want to bring the top of the C back, but the bottom of the C resists. My navel stays back, and I'm keeping my shoulders away from my ears and relaxed. Okay, so that's the first stage. You can stay at that. That's absolutely no problem to stay in that for all of the examples. Otherwise, bringing it up 1 stage. So I have my ball here. Okay, this is going to help me engage my inner legs. Okay, so if you have a ball, use it. If not, an imaginary ball is nearly just as good. So you want to stop your legs from falling out, and you want to, this engagement of your inner thighs helps you integrate into your abdominals, okay? So now we're going to go a little bit further back with our C curve. Okay, I'm tipping my C, I'm bringing my tailbone underneath me towards the wall opposite me, and I'm using my hands on my outer thighs to control coming down 1 vertebrae at a time. It's all very controlled. My exhale is going to help me. And then the crown of my head comes up, and I can use the outer hands on my outer thighs to help me come up. Okay, let's do 1 more like that. Inhale, tipping your C, drawing your navel back from your abdominals, hollowing out your abdominals, controlling 1 vertebrae at a time. And then exhale, head comes up, shoulders stay back. use your hands and your exhale to help you. And then if you want to stay at that, that's fine. But if you want to bring it up a notch, you're going to go back with straight legs and full control. So start with your hands parallel to the floor. Okay, and I'm starting to bring my tailbone. There's an undercurrent going underneath me. My tailbone is going towards the wall. I'm controlling. I'm using my exhale. Coming down one vertebrae at a time. I came down a bit too quickly there. And then inhale, come up, and your exhale is going to help you. Exhale. See, I'm a bit out of practice. I'm not giving a very good example here. One more time. Inhaling, controlling, coming down one vertebrae at a time. The whole spine comes down. Arms come over the head. Bring your arms back towards the ceiling. Exhale, curl your spine, and exhale through that difficult part. Okay, I don't think I did a good example there. Okay, so we're going to roll it out with rolling like a ball. So you can make your ball a big ball, a tight ball. Okay, but some of the principles are that the distance between your heels and your sit bones stays the same. Okay, the relationship between your pelvis, your hips, and your ribs stays the same. Okay. So if you want the easier version, you can bring your hands behind your knees like that. Otherwise, hold the front of your shins, roll your shoulders back, okay? And we're thinking of that long C curve that we're rolling back. And we want each vertebrae to roll out onto the floor evenly. Okay, so inhale and exhale brings you home. Keep your balance, okay? So notice that my heels and my sit bones stay, the relationship stays the same. I like to think of having an elastic between the two. Roll your shoulders back. Inhale. The exhale will help you come home. So initiate your exhale just before you want to return. Keep looking in front of you. Don't let your eyes come back. 3 more times. Making it slightly tighter. And one very last time. Okay, and now keeping your right knee, lengthening your left leg down, roll down. Okay, we're going to do single leg circle. So your left leg, your standing leg, is what's going to stabilize you. So a lot of the work and your concentration needs to be in that leg. So really reach that leg away from you. Imagine you're standing on that leg. Place your hands down by the floor, roll your shoulders back, and see if you can get your right leg completely straight, okay? So ideally it's straight, but if there's a bit of a bend in it, that's okay too. As long as now you don't change the angle between your shin and your thigh. Okay, so whichever way you are. The same, if you're very tight on your hamstrings, you can keep this left leg bent, but really try to get that left leg straightened out. Okay, we're going to do 6 circles to each side. Okay, and remember the whole point is to keep the pelvis stable. So you're reaching across your midline, coming down. Exhale, the drawing in of your abdominals reaches your leg back. 1, and inhale for half, exhale, 2. Pelvis stays absolutely steady. 3. 3 more times in this direction. Inhale for half, and exhale. Last time. Okay, and then we change direction. I bring it out of my body, but not enough that I'm tilting my pelvis. Down and exhale across the midline and home. Again, 2, 3, and 3 more times. Inhale out, down, exhale across the midline. So my abdominals are doing a lot of the work here, and everything is staying absolutely steady except for the moving leg. Okay, you can bend that leg into you and really stretch between your 2 legs here. And then change. Bring your right leg down. Stretch out through that right hip. Try to bring the leg as close to the ground so there's no space between the thigh and the floor, and stand on your right leg. Bend your left leg. Bring your arms down by your side. See if you can straighten that leg, or otherwise it's fine with a little bend. And let's do inhale, down, exhale, back. Inhale, down, exhale, back. Cross, down, exhale. Always take a little pause after each one. And then 3 more. It's the drawing in of my abdominals that is bringing my leg back. And this leg is stabilizing me. And then we're changing. Out, down, exhale across and back. Out, down, exhale across and back. And then 3 more times. One more time. Bend that knee. Get the stretch through the other leg. Bend this leg close to you. And then hands behind the thigh to come back up. Okay, so now we're going to do the series of 5 abdominals. We do 6 repetitions of each one. Okay, so the first one is the single leg stretch. So come back down, bring your right knee towards you, lift your left leg up, curl up, okay, and then place your right hand on the outer ankle, left hand on the inner knee. And we're going to do 6 in each direction, 6 on each side, so that's 2, 3. Notice that the only thing I'm moving are my legs and my hands. My head stays up. I'm on the tips of my shoulder blades. My abdominals are drawing in. I'm losing count. I'm going to do 2 more on each side. Okay, and then hug your knees, bring your head back. Okay, so during these exercises, sometimes your neck can get sore. So my advice is to hold your head up as much as possible. And if needed, place your hand. Don't let that neck, you can wait until it gets a little bit sore, but then immediately support it. The next one is the double leg stretch, okay? So hug your knees in tight. I have my hands on my shins. Okay, I'm getting my crown of my head up and onto the tips of my shoulder blades. Okay, so the modified, easier version is to just bring your legs and hands straight up and then back down, okay? But the more advanced version, which I'm going to show here, is notice that only my legs and arms will move, not my head, not my torso. Inhale, I bring my hands towards my ears. Exhale, big circle with my hands. 6 times, that was the first. And 2. And as usual, it's the scooping of my belly that initiates the return of my legs. And 4, 2 more times, keep your head up. And 5, and 6. Bend your knees, bring your head back. Okay, so in any of these, you should be feeling it in your abdominals, of course, that's no problem, and not in your lower back. And try not to have too much strain in your neck, so keep using the hands behind your head to support your head until you've got more strength. Okay, hands onto your shins again, curl up. We're going to do the scissors. Bring your 2 legs straight as possible. I know not all of you are going to be able to. Some of you have your legs bent, but see if you can straighten them as much as possible. Shoulder blades down your back. We're trying to bring our forehead towards our shin, shin towards our forehead. And we're staying centered on the midline. Okay, so there's a little pulse. 1, 2, and change. 1, 2, and scissor. And 3. And 4. Stay up on the tips of your shoulder blades. And 5. Hold one hand behind your head if needed. And 6. Okay, and then bend your head, bend your knees, bring your head down. The next one is a double leg lower lift. Hands behind your head. Curl up, be on the tips of your shoulder blades. Have your elbows out wide. Let your elbows be in your peripheral vision. Head heavy in your hands and curling up from underneath your sternum. And then you can either do it bent legs or straight legs. And if it's too much, you can also keep your head down and just do it with your whole body on the ground and just use your legs. Okay, we're going to keep it quite small. I'm going to straighten my legs. Okay, so this is the one where you want it to come absolutely from your abdominals, not the swinging of your legs. So keep it short, but keep it slow. And I'm imagining that I have some kind of thick cord connecting my inner femur bones underneath my ribs. And when I inhale, those cables, I'm lengthening my inner thighs away from me, abdominals drawing in. And then when I come home, I'm imagining that I'm pulling those cables to bring my legs back. 1. Don't let your abdominals pop out. Exhale, come back slowly, deeply. You should be working very deeply here. and 3. Find those cables, come back slowly, keeping those abdominals on the ground, not popping out, keeping your lower back on the ground. I think that was 4, 5, 6. Of course, you should be bending your legs if your back is arching. And the last one, when your legs lift. Okay, the next one is the crisscross. Hands behind your head, come up onto the tips of your shoulders, elbows in your peripheral vision. Okay, the 2 versions, but make sure that you keep your neutral pelvis. No squeezing your butt and lifting your pubic bone. Keep it all hollowed out, long. And you're going to bring your right elbow onto the floor and lift your left armpit towards your right hip. Exhale, come back. The opposite. Right armpit towards left hip. Okay, or you can make it a little bit more advanced and use the knees as well. Okay, opposite armpit towards opposite hip. And let the armpit pick up the ribs. Go slowly again. Okay, I think I have 3 more times each side. And last time. And then take a little break, bend your elbows. Okay, so I think I only have 5 more minutes. Let me see what we're going to do. I think we should get a side kick in. Lie down on the back of your mat. So lie down on one side. I'm on my right side. Lift your right waist. Lengthen yourself onto the mat and then bring your legs forward. Make sure that your left hip is on top of your right hip. Okay, we're just going to do circles. I don't have time to do all of the others. Okay, so bring your hand behind your head. And 3, 4, 5, 6. Change direction. 6, 5, 4, 3. I'm reaching, I'm lengthening. My lower back is I'm not just sticking my butt out, I'm really lengthening down the back of my legs and scooping out my abdominals, okay? And then we're just reaching your leg forward, pointing your toe, reaching it back, okay? Getting this stretch in the back of the leg as you bring your leg forward, getting this stretch in the front of your hip as you reach it back. And 3, and 4, 5, making sure that it stays on the same height all the time, that you're not lifting it when it goes behind you. Okay, and then onto your bellies. Okay, lengthen your legs, bring your pubic bone into the ground, lift your abdominals, bring your hands onto either side of you, roll your shoulders back, create that traction with your hands on the floor towards your feet, and think of getting longer rather than higher. The front of your body getting longer. Okay, so lift your eyes, draw your shoulder blades down your back, abdominals are lifting up inside me, and then to protect my lower back, my upper buttocks are moving away from the center of my back, and so that I'm not compressing my lower back, I'm keeping the lower back long as well. Rolling my shoulders back, lifting up, and then exhale, keeping your head and the back of your neck long, okay? So my eyes lift, my nose lifts, my mouth lifts, rolling my shoulders back, lifting my abdominals up, and exhale. One more time. Okay, and then do the other side. Okay, so lying on my left side now, measuring myself on the back of my mat, bring your legs forward, making sure that the hips are aligned, bring your hand underneath your head and lift that left waist, lift your top leg and the circles, small circles, reaching your leg as you make the circle. So number 3, 4, 5, be very exact, 6 and change direction, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, keeping the abdominals tucked in. And then reach the leg forward, point the toes, and reach the leg back. I've got a wall in the way. Okay, hopefully that won't be your case. And 2. 3. So getting a stretch in my hamstrings, getting a stretch in my quads. Last time. Okay. Onto your belly again, we're going to do swimming. So lift one leg, turn it in, lift the other leg, turn it in. Keep your upper abdominals away from your lumbar spine. Reach your arms in front of you, but bring your arm bones into their sockets. Okay, and then just lift your head slightly, look slightly forward, and lift your right arm, left leg. As if your left leg is being picked up by the back of the thigh. Left arm, right leg. Right arm, left leg. And alternate opposite arms, opposite legs. And then if you want to make it a little bit faster, you can. But pick up your leg from the back, from the inner back of the thigh. Okay, and then you can go very, very fast, or you can keep it slow. Okay, the last thing we're going to do is the bridge. Again, maybe if you have a ball, otherwise place your imaginary ball between your knees. Knees and feet hip distance apart. Be in your neutral pelvis. Start your recto version. So you're pouring your imaginary soup towards your navel. Pressing your feet into the ground and articulating your spine away from the floor, one vertebrae at a time. Upper buttocks going towards the backs of your knees. Open up these two front hips. Using your arms and the backs of your arms on the floor to give you lift. And then exhale, come all the way down. Okay, so the next time I'm going to be lifting up, I can't use my ball, but I want you to use your imaginary ball because you need it now. We're going to be lifting one leg off the ground. Okay, so place your, same thing as last time, feet into the ground, recto version of your pelvis. Lift up one vertebrae at a time. Come up into your bridge. Be really centered. Imagine that ball being held between your inner legs, your inner knees. Make sure that you're all the way up so that your front hips are open. And then you're going to lift your right knee without shifting onto the left side. Lift your right knee, straighten the leg, lift the leg, and then reach it away 3 times. Keep that inner legs holding that imaginary ball. And then lift the leg high, bend it, place it down. Center yourselves again. Stay in your nice bridge with your open hips. Right foot is pressing into the ground, but try not to shift all your weight over to the right as you lift your left leg, straighten the leg, lift it, and then 3 times. 1, 2, 3. Place your foot down. Come down one vertebrae at a time. And then hands behind your knees. And we're just going to do 2 rolls, and on the second roll you're going to see if you can come to standing without touching the ground, okay? So you're going to roll back and exhale, come forward. And the next time you're going to roll all the way up. Inhale back and exhale forward. No hands on the ground. And there's your Pilates practice. Good luck. And I think that was within